All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you all for joining us. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Furman.
Present.
Councilmember Holmes.
Present.
Councilmember Miller.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramos-Amit.
Present.
And Mayor Ortiz.
Present. Thank you. And then we'll go ahead and move on to invocation. We have Pastor Dave McCoy from Garden Fellowship Church.
And actually, we don't have pastor today.
Oh, okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Miller, would you like to lead us? And we did not have a report on closed session, no closed session today, so we'll go ahead and move on to our report from our Youth Advisory Council. And we have Miabella Cancino joining us. Oh, sorry, that was, you switched it up on us. Sorry, what was your name? Daniela? Daniela Rodriguez, go ahead, thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I am Daniela Rodriguez from the Youth Advisory Council, and here is our report. We attended the Desert Town Hall Speaker Series on Thursday, February 23rd with Kimberly Strassel as a speaker who is an author, columnist, and an editorial board member for the Wall Street Journal. Prom season is around the corner, so the Indio Teen Center will have their annual prom dress giveaway event on Friday, March 4th to help girls say yes to the right dress. We are also planning to clean up our adopted street before our next meeting and to paint the Teen Center's fence. YAC also got invited to the Women's Club Luncheon, which we will be attending on March 4th. The theme is the Fabulous 50s. Then, Friday Night Live will be hosting the Fun Day at Boomers, which we are all excited to be there and join in on the fun, and they also invited us to their end of the year awards ceremony. YAC has been mainly working on the Directing Change projects, which include 60-second videos, a poem, and both traditional and digital art pieces focusing on mental health. Tonight we will showcase a digital art piece that April has made and a poem by me.
Are they going to show it?
It's just going to be my poem
Oh,
that
go
we're
ahead.
presenting. Sorry about that. I don't have it with me right now.
Okay. Okay. Did they have a video or something, Sabdi, or? No? Okay. No worries. And then for the prom dress giveaway, if you guys want to go ahead and just tag us on there when you guys are putting out the information, so we'll go ahead and share it with the communities to let people know about it. And then do you guys need help for the cleanup and the fence that you guys are painting? Are you guys looking for help? Okay. Let us know what you guys need. Reach out to us. Thanks. Yeah. Adopt the street. When is it, the cleanup? March 6th. Okay. All right. Thanks. We'll write that down here. Thank you for the report. Appreciate it. And we'll move on to our city manager reports and information.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to mention, as you well know, that the city team is out working hard, doing many wonderful things. They're very visible. Some more road projects coming up, of course, the public safety campus. But just wanted to take a brief minute to remind those that may be listening, and certainly the council is aware, we have a number of city staff that behind the scenes make all of that happen, such as our finance team, our IT team, city clerk's office, HR, that maybe aren't out there with these capital projects that are most visible, but working hard nonetheless to make sure all of that happens. So just periodically, I want to remind everybody the great work that's being done behind the scenes to make all of that happen. I want to remind everybody about the farmers market every Sunday, 9 to 2 here at Bliss in town. Also, we have our second Saturday on the 11th at 6 p.m. And we do have a volunteer cleanup day ourselves on the 25th. A number of projects, but if there's some volunteers or organizations, churches otherwise that would like to volunteer on that day, please let my office know and we will plug you into some great projects. So that's March 25th, a Saturday. With that, Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you. Could we get a flyer maybe for the volunteer cleanup?
Absolutely.
That we can share? Thanks. Thank you for the report, and we'll go ahead and move on to report on City Council external and internal board meetings. I will go ahead and start with Ms. Elaine Holmes.
All right, good evening, everyone. A few things. First of all, one of the meetings I had was the East Valley Reclamation Authority, and this is probably one of my most interesting and fascinating meetings. So some time ago, and we're talking about a recycled water project and going through all the steps to the other part of it is I didn't understand or didn't know is that before it gets to the next water well, once it's injected, it's a very slow-moving process. And one of the challenges with injection is brine discharge and where that goes and what we do with that. At the end of the day, that team and that organization between IWA and Valley Sanitary continue to work on the recycled water project. The other things were all a lot of fun. Attended the employee appreciation dinner and want to thank staff. I want to thank HR, everybody. What a great evening. So nice to recognize. I wish I could have given an award to every staff member because I think everyone is very deserving of an award. It's just been a great year and more to come. So not just fun, but really terrific. Thank you again, staff. We appreciate you very much. Of course, we did the Date Festival Parade, and of course, we went to the fair and checked out all the animals, and some of us did rides. Personally, I stood in line at the cinnamon roll place, and that was kind of the beginning, middle, and end for me. So that was a lot of fun. And then something near and dear to my heart is the Palm Springs Air Museum Gala. And we honored 8 women that made such a difference in aviation, and really the wonderful thing about that is that they now serve and have served as role models. So, you know, and it was an interesting conversation, too, that we had that evening in illustrating, you know, the old concept of our kids want to be doctors or lawyers. Well, now there is such a need for aviators that the salary is well and above what an attorney or a doctor would make. They are in huge demand with huge bonuses. So, ladies, over there, consider a career in aviation. There's all kinds of opportunity there. And Mayor, thank you. That ends my discussion.
Thank you, Councilmember Holmes. Councilmember Furman.
Thank you. Good evening. All of my boards and committees were dark. However, I did attend the CVAC executive meeting in company with our mayor. And there is a lot of things on this agenda. However, some of the more noticeable things that I like to talk about, one was Care Court. We received the update from Care Court. We have a portion of Riverside County, which is in the western Riverside County, that is a pilot program for Care Court. And what that is, it's a court process to help usher folks who have mental challenges or substance abuse, who find themselves homeless. And this court is ordering them to seek help, and so they don't fall into incarceration or encampments or victim of violence out on the streets. So that pilot program is going on in the western Riverside County. Our homeless committee did try to get that here. However, we were unsuccessful. Nonetheless, there's 9 counties in California who are implementing this pilot program as we speak, and they have to have it up and running by October of this year. So that was an update on that. We also received an update on the CV Housing First initiative from 2022. And in total, we have connected 54 folks off of the CV 200 list with permanent housing. And those numbers are down from last year, but it's still an ongoing effort. And we also connected 32 non-CV 200 clients that were housed last year. And what CV 200 is, for folks who do not know, it's a list of 200 individuals in our valley who come in constant contact with our services, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's our outreach programs out in the neighborhoods. So they're working with these 200 individuals to get them housing, services, and eventually permanent housing. And so that was the update from last year, 2022. Also, we received an update and informational items on the Monroe an I-10 bridge project. That's a hot topic in our community. That's, you know, often talked about. However, the final environmental document was approved by Caltrans and is in the ongoing phases. And also the right-of-way funding has been approved by CVAG, and additional funding sources have been identified to fully fund the construction. So we're still moving along with that process. And so that was the CVAG executive meeting. And I also attended the employee dinner. Hats off to our staff, our city manager, Mr. Montgomery. You know, we don't have enough words in our vocabulary to express our appreciation for what our staff has done. I talk to folks all the time. I don't care if I'm at Walmart or if I'm at Unique Bites. People are just excited of what's going on in our city. There's dirt being turned, and I commandeered that word from Tim of dirt being turned. That's, you know, construction is going on, and we're seeing movement in all parts of our city, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's parks, whether it's development, hotels, affordable housing, and it all leads back, all roads lead back to our staff. You know, so thank you for making our city look great, and thank you for representing us well. You know, it's a good feeling when we're out there talking about the work that you all done. So it was a great dinner, and like I said, we can't appreciate you more. I also attended the Day Festival and the Day Festival Parade, President's Day Parade. Always a fun event. You know, all the students were out. We had the bands. A lot more folks came out, so it was great. The Day Festival is part of our DNA in the city of Indio. And so it was great to see that the Day Festival was back. It was great to see the pageant. There were some different changes to the festival, but I think it's going to be well. I think we're moving in a great direction. And hats off to our staff who worked with the county on the parade. You know, I kind of make things difficult sometimes during the parade, bringing 20 or 30 lowrider cars, but I think it was fun. I think it was fun. So another great Day Festival. And also thank you to our Day Festival board, which Mayor Pro Tem meets on that board. Thank that board for working through COVID and working with the new operators in county to see that our community has a Day Festival. And also want to echo the city manager's comments on Second Saturday. Second Saturday is this actually on the 11th. And also our farmers market. Can't wait to go to the farmers market as well. And we also have Taste of Indio coming on the 9th. That's Thursday next week. It's at the CV History Museum. It's from 4 p.m. to 7. Like to see you all there, all the vendors, and should be another great event. So thank you, and that concludes my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Furman. Councilmember Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only committee that I had that was active was Sunline Transit Agency. We're in the middle of a new search for a CEO. Our CEO, Lauren Skyver, left to go work for a private industry as their COO of the largest bus company in the United States. So we have appointed Gloria Salazar as our new interim CEO for now. She ran multiple transportation agencies throughout the United States, and she'll be in the interim until we hire somebody. We do have a national search going out for that opportunity to run the Sunline Transit Agency, but it's a little bit different because we are also the leader in hydrogen cell fuel, so we were hoping to find somebody that might have that dual role. As everyone said, the Date Festival, the parade was excellent. I wish we would have saw a few of our veterans there, but Lupe, hats off to you and the Fair Festival individuals for the not only just the parade, but actually the fair, and I'll let you talk about that, but it takes a lot of hard work behind the scenes, so I don't think people understand it. It's a 12-month of the year job. They're constantly, as soon as this one goes over, they're on to the next one and what they can do, so our hats off to everyone. And then I want to thank the staff for the appreciation dinner, and especially Cabazon, the tribe and their group, for continuing to host us and be generous with not only their donation to the city, but also their continued support of our city and our community and our residents, but mostly our staff. They completely understand how important staff is to their operations, and they do that with the city of Indio. So our thanks to not only all the members of our staff, but also Cabazon and their staff for continuing to support us. And then lastly, I went to also the Palm Springs Air Museum with Councilmember Holmes. what a great operation it is. The largest fleet of flying World War II planes. They have a stealth bomber. But what they're really big and into is trying to help our youth and other individuals get into aviation, not only the history of aviation and the military, but as Councilmember Holmes said, there's multiple jobs in the aviation field besides being pilots that pay well jobs, and they're looking to not only educate them. They were able to raise $2.1 million that's going to go only for education to help educate and help individuals to get into the aviation field. So my hat's off to everyone there. And that's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the moment.
Thank you, Councilmember Miller. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. And springboarding off of that comment, the Palm Springs Air Museum has a program for our youth in the Coachella Valley. And that is really why they raise so many funds, because they want to give every child in the Coachella Valley an opportunity to be in an airplane. Not all children have that opportunity. And if you participate in that program, they provide transportation, and they also give you your first flight with a private instructor. So it's a really neat opportunity for any youth in our community to be part of that and to see if aviation is in their future, which, as you've heard repeatedly, is a growing field, not only for men, but for women as well. In addition to that, as Councilmember Glenn Miller mentioned, I am on the board for the Riverside County Fair and National Date Festival, and it is a year-round job, but we love what we do. And this was the first year that we worked with the new operator, Pickering Events, so it was his opportunity to incorporate some of his ideas, but to also learn how our festival operates. So we just expect and anticipate the growth that's going to happen. He's very proud to have had record-breaking attendance, not only in the fair, but in the concerts and also in the Midway. So that will continue to grow, and we hope to see year-round events coming from him. And I want to thank the Youth Advisory Council for writing in the parade for me. It's always my pleasure to invite you, and I'm glad you got a really cool little carriage this year. That was really neat. So thank you, staff, for putting that together. I did attend the City Select meeting for the mayor. This is a once-a-year meeting that is held at the League of California Cities meeting, and all of the mayors from Riverside County get together and make selections and appointments to the various regional boards throughout the county. And why is this important? Because they ultimately make decisions that impact Indio. For example, LAFCO, the Airport Land Use Commission. You know, all of these appointments are our colleagues from other cities, they're mayors. So if we ever have a need for something to go through their governing body, we have relationships with these individuals and we should reach out to them. Recently, at this last meeting, they appointed a new Western mayor to the LAFCO board because our past member, I think, passed away. So it's time to build a relationship with that new mayor to make sure he knows about what we have going on at LAFCO. And it was my pleasure to be there on your behalf. And in addition to that, I think the only other meeting I attended, I forgot already. Oh, well, there were 4 things, but I forgot.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I had a great time at our President's Day Parade. A big thank you to all the organizers who brought out a big crowd for the parade, and thank you to our YAC as well for joining us out there. And thank you to the car clubs and all the other representatives that joined us that day. We got some good feedback from the fair this year. It seems like there were some big improvements compared to last year, and we're glad to see a big turnout, record-breaking turnout throughout the week. So thank you as well to our Mayor Pro Tem for her service on the County Fair Board and her efforts in bringing our fair back to life this year. I was also able to attend the Palm Springs Black History Live Museum with a nonprofit called Building Resilience in African American Families. Students were able to study some of their favorite historical figures and act out their personalities as people toured the event to help teach the community about those historical figures. I also attended our Inland Regional Energy Network meeting, where we approved contracts for our $10 million annual budget. This is money that needs to be invested into energy saving programs, and we've included programs like a fellowship program to provide staff help for our cities, workforce training programs for stakeholders, and providing technical support for our region's governments, which include the Coachella Valley, Western Riverside County, and San Bernardino County. I also attended the new member orientation for SoCal Association of Governments Regional Council. I'll be joining their 84-member council as we make decisions on housing, transportation, economic development, energy, and environmental policies. This weekend I also had the opportunity to talk to some students visiting from UCLA at the Rec Center here on Clinton Street. They were visiting with a program from the Multicultural Center on their campus and invited me to have a conversation with them. And we talked about college life, we talked about work-life balance, community engagement, and a few other topics there. And I was happy to hear that a few of them are considering working in urban planning or are running for elected office as well. Some reminders, as was mentioned earlier, our volunteer cleanup is going to be on March 25th, and we'll put out a flyer on that. And Taste of Indio is going to be on the 9th at the CV History Museum, and we also have our farmers market every Sunday here, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. in right here in downtown Indio. And we'll have our second Saturday event coming up on March 11th. And that's all I have for today, so we'll go ahead and...
If I could, Mr.
go
Mayor,
ahead.
I just want to remind everybody that the California Care Force coming into the
Oh, that's right.
Empire Polo Club. That's the free vision, dental, and medical for anyone that needs it. It's going to be the March 3rd through the 5th from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. for anybody that needs it. It's free for everyone that goes out there. It's all volunteers. Hosted by Golden Voice and going to be at the Empire Polo Club. So,
Thanks for that reminder.
Yes.
I forgot about that one. And that's all for our reports. We'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Youth Advisory Council, would you like to be excused? All right, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. And we'll move on to our consent calendar. Is there any items that anyone would wish to pull?
I'd like to just talk about the, if we could, with Rob on the initiative for the
9.6? The Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wrote it down for the money that we got from the federal government for COVID-19, if we could.
Okay,
And 9.2.
Yeah.
all right.
Is that the same one? I don't think so.
No, that's not that one.
I went 9.2.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do 9.2 first.
So
Sabdi?
This is basically just routine item after the termination of the emergency, the state emergency ending. Local government agencies are also terminating their local emergency resolutions as well.
So, City Attorney, how does that impact us?
So essentially, ending the local emergency ends all the local emergency powers that the city council may have had during the local emergency. I think when we were doing the research on this, first of all, the state is ending its state of emergency statewide, effective yesterday. It would be difficult for the city to continue to make the findings that the emergency exists unless we could show that somehow the city of Indio was being disproportionately impacted by COVID other than the rest of the state. When we did the research on other cities, we actually found most of them had repealed their local emergencies last year or the year before. We could find very few that were still ongoing. So we mostly wanted to make sure that we wrapped it up. We couldn't really justify the findings going forward. If that answers your question.
Rob, just on the same thing. I know we have the funding for COVID and everything else that we have. Have we utilized that? Have we finished up with everything that's been put to date?
So the American Rescue Plan funding, where we got about $20 million. Yeah, we're about 3/4 way through that funding source. We have until the end of 2024 to spend the balance. The money that we recovered was able to be spent for any governmental purpose. It was basically a revenue recovery fund. So we have been utilizing it throughout the last year and a half. And that's been able for us to set aside some other funding sources like Measure X, which created a balance of which you use for a lot of the capital projects that we're using this year. So it's a bit of a switch, but most of it is gone, and we can bring a report. City manager can provide you a report with how those funds have been spent.
But it's not going to affect us by terminating this. The
doesn't
funding
affect
goes
the
all the way to
funding at all.
2024, but we have money that's still available to be utilized and will be utilized until 2024.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other
That was it.
items you'd like to discuss?
That was it.
Everybody okay? Go ahead and entertain a motion.
Are we going to go ahead?
Okay, well, I'll move to pass the consent calendar.
And I'll second it.
All All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Furman and a second from Councilmember Holmes. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor. Let me try to do the voting.
Yeah, this one's
Okay.
Give me a few minutes. It's been quite a few years. Okay, if you press your buttons right now.
It says plus and minus.
It says plus, 0, or minus.
Okay.
So I think plus would be.
Plus is yes?
What does it say?
Okay.
Oh, I probably shouldn't have voted. Sorry, Sabdi.
Thank you.
I think the-
Motion
the-
passes.
Okay, I think
5-0. Thank
the only
you.
items in the
6-0.
past. 6-0. The only items in the past that we've done roll call vote is fiscal impacts. So I don't know if we're going to continue that practice. City attorney's going to have to look into that, if we're going to have roll call votes on fiscal impacts on consent.
All right. Okay, well, consent calendar passes. We'll go ahead and move on to item number 10.1 in our administrative items, filling the city treasurer vacancy pursuant to Government Code Section 36512B. That's Sabdi.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. The city treasurer seat became vacant on February 1st, 2023. The government code requires council to act within 60 days to either appoint a successor or to call a special election. The recommendation of staff is to fill the city treasurer by appointments, as the special election would be costly to the city, roughly about $154,000. In discussions with the city manager Montgomery, staff feels that it would be most appropriate to appoint the finance director, who is already performing all the duties of the city treasurer, as stated in the government code. He's also appointed deputy city treasurer by the late city treasurer Ramirez. So with that, the city manager as well as myself and the city attorney are here if you have any questions.
Do you have any questions?
Is the nominee willing?
Is the nominee willing?
Thank you for that question. Yes, he is. Honored to, thank you.
All right.
And I would love to make the motion to appoint our finance director / city assistant city manager / deputy treasurer to the position of the remainder term of the city treasurer.
I'll second that.
There you go.
All right, we got a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Ramos-Mead, and we have a second from Councilmember Miller. Can we get a vote, please?
Let me go to the item, please. Thank you.
No voting, Stephen.
Take away his voting button.
It lit up.
So you pushed it.
Never a good sign.
No. You say, don't push this button.
Okay, please enter your votes. Motion carried, unanimous. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 10.2 to authorize the city manager to execute a new operating agreement with Bird Rides, Inc.
Thank you. I'm pleased to introduce Jose Ramirez, his first time presenting to the City Council, one of our new management analysts, and he has a brief presentation and really did all of the work on this renegotiation. Jose?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of the Council. My name is Jose Ramirez. I am a management analyst. I'm here to discuss the proposed new operating agreement with Bird Rides. I will begin with a brief overview of our current pilot program. So the pilot program was executed in March 2022 and will sunset on March 2023. The initial fleet did not land until April 2022, and from that day to current day, there has been approximately 34,700 rides. A total of 68,500 miles have been traveled with over 2,500 unique riders in the city of Indio. That average 1.8 miles per ride. Now I will discuss some of the community's feedback. Overall, the feedback on Byrne scooters has been positive. I know, I like the picture also. Byrne scooters are a convenient, cost-effective, environmentally friendly, and fun way to get around the city of festivals. Additionally, I received great feedback from our Public Works Department, as well as from Indio Police Department and Code Enforcement. The feedback from our residents has been positive as well, with only a few minor complaints regarding the scooters not being picked up in a timely manner. To resolve this issue, I am working with Sajni Patel, who is our designated operations manager for the city of Indio, and her and the Byrne team are working together to address these concerns to keep our streets clean. So now let's discuss the proposed new agreement. During the negotiation of a new agreement with Byrne, our focus was to keep all of the same terms and provisions from the pilot agreement while also getting a share of the profit, and we were able to accomplish that. Therefore, if executed, the new operating agreement includes a 10-cent per ride profit share. This is a great opportunity for our city to generate additional revenue without any additional cost. For our recommendation, we ask the City Council to authorize the execution of the proposed new operating agreement with Byrne Rides. This will replace our current pilot program and will ensure that our city can continue to offer an affordable, convenient, and fun transportation option for our residents. Thank you. With that being said, I am here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. Do we have any questions? Councilmember Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez, for your presentation. A couple of questions. When you talk to them about their scooters have been picked up, what I've heard from residents is that they're being left in multiple areas. Well, obviously some of them get knocked down and other stuff, but in front of people's gated communities, in front of their houses, in front of areas like 4 or 5, 6 of them at a time. How do they decide where they're going to go? I mean, I would think they would need them more in the inner city than they would in other areas. And do they have a system set in place where they have a certain amount that come by and they're put in areas and then they move them back? How does it actually get to the point where they need them to be?
Yeah, so they have like an interactive map that we actually have access to that shows you all of the rides. It shows you the time and how many users are accessing them. So what the fleet managers do is they locate those areas and they try to place as many scooters in those areas where they're getting the most use. But that's definitely something that we can work with them. So Sajni Patel, she's the operations manager, and she's the one who would be like our best contact for that sort of thing. And we can like set up different zones, parking zones and stuff like that with her.
Okay, and so the scooters we have, are they the same ones? I saw in the paper the other day and online too, they were talking about new bicycles and new scooters coming in. Will we be receiving those also? And I don't see many bikes, all I ever see is scooters.
Yeah, so the city of Coachella announced, I think it was a couple of days ago, that they're adding like new scooters and new bikes, but that's through a different
vendor,
company.
but we're not getting any new ones or bikes from Byrne,
No.
is what I'm asking.
No, but Byrne does have, they just added electric bicycles to their fleet. So they're kind of new. So that's one thing that we can reach out to them. And if we're interested in adding bicycles, we can talk to them about it.
Well, I think during the concerts or during some of our events, and we're starting to have more and more events out at the polo clubs where a lot of our individuals are coming from either Airbnb, a few of our hotels are from other areas, but, we had the lacrosse, we had a lot of different events coming up. I think it'd be pertinent to be able to utilize for that more than I would say a scooter, especially if they're carrying gear or doing other stuff. A bicycle, they can have the basket or whatever, be able to utilize it. It's a little safer. Scooters, you got to have pretty good balance, and you got to make sure that you don't hit any rocks. Where a bicycle, you can take a little bit more of a chance of being, hitting a rock or doing something where you're going to be a little bit more safe and not worry about your gear going back and forth. So I think we should look into bicycles also if we can, and see what we can do about working with Golden Voice and the operators of any of the other events that are coming into the city to see what we can do about placing bicycles and scooters in those locations on a temporary basis to be able to utilize them so that we can get more people off the streets, but at the same time move people around. And a lot of the people that have been coming in are a younger generation. They have no problem riding a bike or a scooter to get over there, would prefer that instead of the traffic. Because I don't know if you were down there last time, but when they had the lacrosse, we had the streets blocked off, and parents were parking cars, and kids were jumping out and doing everything. I don't know if it's pertinent to be able to utilize it with that kind of equipment, but the opportunity, I think, is there.
Yes,
So, thank you.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to echo what Councilmember said. Maybe we reach out to Golden Voice or the Polo Grounds and see if there's opportunity to do some sort of pilot program during the festivals this year. Maybe if they have the electric bikes, maybe there's an opportunity there, as well as some of the locations where they're being dropped off. I don't think it's the locations where there's the issue. I think some folks try to ride it all the way to their doorstep and then they just drop it there. I've driven by, places, and I just get out and pick them up. It's our city. We got to take care of it, and it's other things, not just the scooters. 'Cause I think that they were excellent. The community loves them. I think we just have to do a better job as a community getting them to their designated locations. Personally, when we first brought these to the city, I didn't know that there were designated stops until I got the app and really looked at it. So we're supposed to park them at certain areas, but sometimes, unfortunately, some people knock them over or they just fall over. So I think we could just do a better job of doing that. But thank you for your presentation, and looking forward to growing this program and getting vehicles off the street, because I think we're headed in the right direction.
Thank you. And then one program that they do, they have they implemented a fleet manager program, and it's active in the city of Indio. So any city of Indio resident, what they can do is they can log into the app and get registered, and they can actually pick up scooters and drop them, redeploy them, and earn some money that way as well. So, thank you.
And then we have another question.
It's just a comment, it's not a question. I mean, I expressed some level of concern when we were going through this process, and I just wanted to say it's really been an outstanding process. I'm really glad to have them in our city. I'm up in the Terralago area, and they are constantly in use all year round, and so it's really fun to see. I think the app is terrific. It works, it's wonderful. I've given that information out to several people, and I think it's only going to get better. And you know what? We just stop and pick them up every now and then. So
Right.
I think it works. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And then I had first, just great to hear that 34,000 rides. That's really a good accomplishment for us in getting vehicles off the road. And I think you said it was 8 tons of CO2 that.
Like 8, yeah.
Yeah,
there
8
was-
tons. That's pretty impressive. So really appreciate staff working on this project with the company. I did see one thing that was kind of not concerning, but I just wanted some details on was, it said that there would be possibly fines for people that were leaving the scooters, like in other areas. Do you have any details on that?
So, when talking to the operation manager, she said that we can implement a lot of different tactics, such as fines, or we can set it up so, for example, they can only drop them off in specific locations. However, they've seen that in other cities, it really decreases the amount of rides, and it discourages people from using them. So we can use those measures. It's just that it's preferred to find a different solution.
Yeah, okay, so that'll come later if it's necessary. But it's
necessary.
not going in at the moment.
No, not at the moment. Mhm.
Gotcha.
And I think that also we have to take into consideration our CV Link isn't complete yet. So once that's complete, we have the longest stretch in the whole valley of the CV Link. And I mean, you could jump on the CV Link here downtown in Indio and ride it all the way to Shields Day Ranch. I mean, so it's going to be great. So I think it's going to grow when we get that done as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Now, I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the new operating agreement that will replace the current pilot agreement that is set to expire this month.
And I'll second the motion.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miller and a second from Councilmember Furman. Can we get a vote, please? Go.
Enter your votes.
You need a little buzzer.
Motion passes.
Thank
Have
you.
you seen it, Brian?
Motion passes. Oh, really? Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to our next item, 10.3, Indio Second Entry Gateway Project. Ms. Namvar.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Leila Namvar, Public Arts Analyst. As you mentioned, this item before you is second entry monument. We received 10 proposals. I'm going to go through all the proposals quick, unless the council would like me to stop on any of the slides. This project went before the Arts Commission, and they picked one artist, which I will share which one. This is from Mr. Casto Solano, which he's proposing kind of archway with metal, which is very shiny, and it could reflect it could reflect light, and his inspiration is from the rivers within our city limits. This one is from Nicole Beck. She is proposing a combination of metal, and also those colored pieces are stained glass, which they are from the material that they're durable even in the heat. The piece that the Arts Commission selected is this piece from Mr. Peter Hazel. He's proposing a desert tortoise, and it's going to be covered by tiles, as you see on the left-hand side. Due to the closeness of this site to the elementary school, Jackson Elementary School, and also being close in a residential neighborhood, in addition to that, the scale of the proposed artwork, the commission chose this one. It is interactive, so the kids can go close and touch it, and we are going to take measures if somebody climbs on it, so it will be safe. It's not meant to be climbed, so there will be signage and some surface for this piece. This is from Mr. Andre. He's proposing bronze statue. That's the scale. He added the right image, which is a little bit taller, and that person is carrying more, rocks. But any of these could be as well installed there. This is from Christopher Jenny. He's proposing tall art piece, as you see. It's about 20 feet tall, and those blue ribbons basically are from glass. It could reflect blue light under the sun, and there again, it is durable within the hot environment of desert. This is from Patrick Sullivan. He's proposing to carve from yellow limestone these two shapes. This is from Armin Isaryan. He is proposing three connected horses, which will be from metal. This is from Oleg Lobikin. He's proposing interconnected, very shiny metal surface, which is reflective. The scale, as you see, is about 8, 9 feet. This is from Bijan Masoum Pana. He proposed these three options. One is metal. The other two, the middle one is stone, and the bighorn ship will be made of concrete. This is from Edward Steinhauer, which is, as you see, it's a free-flowing shape which has fixed seating area. The area that you can sit, the image is kind of inspired from traditional Native American motifs. So these are all the 10 proposals. Staff is recommending to select the artwork from Peter Hazel entitled Desert Tortoise, and authorize the city manager and city attorney to work on the terms of the contract and for the total amount of $125,000. I'll be happy to answer if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Namvar. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm still digesting.
I have a question on the tortoise. In one picture, I couldn't really see. It looked like the mouth was closed. In the other picture, it showed jagged teeth.
One's an alligator.
That's the example of the tiles from another work that
okay.
he has done, which is an alligator. So similar tiles will go on top of that tortoise.
But it's not gonna have jagged teeth. the
No, it
tortoise.
won't. His mouth is closed.
Okay, and this is the Arts Commission recommendation?
Correct.
I got one question.
Yeah.
Leila, where exactly will it be located? Will it be right there on that sidewalk, or is there like a place where we're looking
No,
at?
it will be 16 feet north of the public right-of-way on Kenner, and it will be 75 feet away from public right-of-way of Jackson, because we are widening Jackson Street as well. So it will be close to the school site.
I'm just concerned with the congestion right there. Have we looked at possibly moving it a little closer into the grass, or?
You would like to be closer in the center of the grass area?
I mean,
Sure, we can move that. That's the minimum 16 feet is due to IID requirements, so we can push it more toward the center.
and I also, I mean, I'm pretty sure the students will love it, and there will be the urge to climb on it. So I just think that we should just go ahead and put the signs along with the piece. If it gets approved, I think we should just put that initially and not wait for the kids to figure it out. But I just had a, concern with that area being congested already, because Kenner is a skinny road. I believe it's only 2-lane there. And when folks are getting out of school and kids are getting out of school and people are picking up, it's just getting congested. And then maybe people looking at the art piece, that's just a concern that I have. But if the Art Commission has looked at it, I'll let the council decide where we go with this item.
And then we are working with staff for all the signage and also the surface. So it will be part of it. And as I said, we can push it a little bit more in the center.
Elaine?
Go ahead.
I was just going to jump in relative to the traffic there. We do have parking further north. I don't know if that takes a little bit away from the visibility of it. But to think that someone sees, this is cool, I'm going to park. In fact, you see the red curb right there. Pickup times and drop-off times, it's packed. So I don't know if it takes away from it, but we do have parking even further north that may be more attractive than parking on Kenner and walking up to it.
And to speak to that, I don't know if this is not on the top of my head, but maybe Tim could remind us. Well, our CV link, will we have a stop there?
Mm-hmm.
And so wouldn't that probably be an opportunity to maybe move it closer to where that stop is? An idea.
The stop is by Jackson Park for the CV Link. CV Link connects to the Jackson
so it's
Park.
on the other side.
Correct.
Okay.
From that side.
But we do have a parking lot, the Armory parking lot as well. That's what we're referring to.
Did Elaine want to speak?
I echo, there's always concern, and we've talked about art pieces in the past, is where do you park and get off to see it? It is what it is. I think this is great. I think it's great for the kids. I think it will draw people to that. As we put signage around it and make sure we save a spot for people to take a selfie. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what people are going to do, is take that selfie in front of this very cool thing. And I support this. But I have a question, because the other thing I liked is the one from Christopher Janey, the glass ribbons. Does that have movement to it? Just curious for future.
No, it doesn't.
So it's static.
It is static,
Okay.
but the thing is, when he presented, he said it could be widened to meet our purpose. So there are other avenues that staff is looking to see if that can be installed.
I like that. Of course, I like glass, and I like the iridescence. I just thought that was very neat, but I totally
I'm sorry,
support the
did you
tortoise.
talk about this one? I apologize.
No.
The
Oh.
other one.
No.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
That one.
That one.
This one.
Yeah, Christopher
Sure.
Janey. Yeah, I just think it's kind of cool.
So-
It would be cool if it had movement to it.
Yeah. I want to take us back to when we first started talking about entry monuments. Initially, it was because we wanted to have a statement piece at every point of entry into the city. And the only reason this one was selected is because it was going to be the site of the jagged 9/11 piece. Otherwise, it would not have been on our list of entry monuments because it doesn't really serve that purpose. So I guess I'm saying this site is not a priority. I know the Arts Commission's gone through a lot of work to select a piece of art to go on this site, but the only reason it was there was because of the 9/11 piece.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure that it's still a site, given that we're going to do something different with the 9/11 piece.
And if I could, Mayor, I concur with Lupe because I was on that committee. The idea behind it was we were going to take those trees out, we were going to make it a memorial park, we were going to do some other stuff to it where it made sense to be an entry sign, not an art piece, more of an entry statement. Like we were going to do the polo grounds, we were going to have something like a stagecoach or a polo pony or something. It was kind of when you get into those areas that you were going to know you were in Shadow Hills or you were in the Burr Street area or whatever, that was going to be that entry point. But this doesn't make any sense to me. I like the art piece itself, but where it's located, first off, you can't park on that street, and if anybody does, it's a red zone anyways, and you have traffic from the kids. Two, you're not going to see it coming from the other direction because the trees are there. You're only going to be able to see it if you look sideways through it. So I like the piece. I just don't think it's in the right location. And with the kids and everybody walking on it and jumping on it, if they do, I mean, it's possible they will and not. I just don't think it's a good use of $125,000. I think it could go somewhere else where you'd have a better impact of it, like we have stuff downtown where you can actually stop and get. So I like the piece, I just don't like the location.
And another point we need to keep into consideration is that the city leveled that property and we just threw in some dirt and planted grass. We never compacted it. And underneath that property is a very big swimming pool. So it may cost more than $125,000 to prep the land, but I'm still leaning toward the original direction of the committee, which was this is not an art location, it's an entry statement, and it was reserved for the memorial, but we're not doing that anymore.
So define entry statement, because
Entry statement says you are here in Indio.
because I'm not sure the memorial is necessarily, and I totally support the memorial, is an entry statement either.
It would have said this is,
No, this can say this is
But it
Indio.
wasn't supposed to be
because-
an art piece, it was supposed to be an
Yeah.
entry statement. So
Yeah.
what it was, like a polo pony going into that area that matched this area, a turtle in the middle of the grass in an area you can't get to, doesn't make it an entry statement, because it's really an entry into what? We're already.
Okay, but the memorial isn't necessarily an entry statement either. I mean,
No.
that's my point, is
No, it was
then we need to
connected to the
define what an entry
armory.
statement is.
yeah, it was connected to the armory and the future use of the armory.
Yeah.
But a turtle has no correlation to North Jackson. It doesn't say Indio, it has no connection. I like the piece, I
Yeah,
do,
I
I
like the
do, I
piece,
like
yeah.
the piece. I just don't know where to put it.
Would you like to see it in a park? Because
No, it's not
No.
important at this
Okay,
point.
because
We're not
because
looking for a place, we're looking for completing the entry strategic plan.
I think that the entry idea was good years ago, but our city has grown all the way out to Gulf Center. So to designate that as an entry point, I think the vision probably needs to change.
Yeah.
And I love the artwork. And I'm just on the fence right now, so maybe we could keep having this
Yeah, I
discussion.
mean, we have a lot of foot traffic from the kids there, right? That they would enjoy the art pieces. They're walking by. It's kid friendly, right? The tortoise, people are gonna love it. I think it's fine. And we approved the site for the Arts Commission too.
I mean, but
Consider.
on the other end, it also gives us opportunity with parking and possibly something being developed where the armory's at, in the future. I didn't see in the staff report, how long are we gonna have this?
It's
Definitely.
It's permanent?
it is
Right. It's
permanent, but it is movable if the city would like to move it to some other places.
I'm sorry. I just say an idea might be to send it back. The piece is attractive to the council. There may be another location that they could consider. Later on in the agenda, you're looking at Shields Park, whether that's a consideration. But to have in the back of your mind, I'm just chiming in personally, this is a very attractive piece as well. So maybe you package a couple of these that may have a home later on at other spots.
I mean, the one we're looking at, that one right there, I'd like us to do something along the railroad. There's a lot of possibility there, especially with some glass or, so those are also other sites.
I think we're still looking at it backwards, though. We're not trying to find sites for art. That's not what we're trying to do. We specifically called out places where people enter Indio, and we wanted to say, wow. Welcome. You're in this part of Indio. Like Glenn said, you know, the polo area, we envisioned something having to do with horses so that it gave that message that you're entering the equestrian area. So it's about the locations, not about the art.
If that's the consensus, it's not.
It's
Okay.
not.
It's not. No, we're still
I-
talking.
And I agree with that. But I mean, look at the piece we got from Golden Voice. It wasn't anything that we put on in Horth Park, you know, right there. It's strategically located. It's not anything that has to do with it, but it looks good because it's part of that park and it kind of goes in. And, you know, if you know the history of it, the reason why. Putting it, the same thing we did at the Dr. Carry-On Park. There's nothing that says the teepees and everything else. It just naturally fit in there, and it's a beautiful piece to add to it. This I could see putting at a park, but there, where we're doing an armory, we're not even sure we're going to keep the armory. We could level it. We could do other stuff. There's a lot to it, and that's one of the reasons we then put the memorial piece there, is we didn't want to spend the money on it. And it's great at the public safety campus. But like in this, I mean, just putting a piece of art there. We got the jungle gym down the street here on Highway 111 that's been there that nobody's ever. I call it a jungle gym. But I'm saying it's a nice piece, but there's nothing that really stands out about it. You don't see people getting into it. I mean, obviously, as time goes on, we can do more to it. I just see this being in a place that's kind of like the art on the bridge that's in the wrong location. Beautiful piece. Can't we find a place somewhere that makes a difference that actually can be highlighted and can be utilized? So somewhere that we can put it that will highlight it, maybe off of Jefferson going up on the, before you get on the freeway, we're looking to clean that area up. I know we don't want a lot because of, like the other one, we had the accident that kind of took out some stuff. But Shadow Hills is talking about an art piece up on their spot. There's some places that could really, this is a beautiful piece that could stand out along with this one here, the other one that we were looking at, that I think really, when you're going to spend $125,000, it shouldn't just be for kids and everybody to look at and you can't park there. It's got to be something that we want to make it as a statement point, but also can be utilized a little bit more, or a beautiful piece that stands out.
So question, what other art piece do you know in that area?
Yeah.
There is, I do not see any art piece. I just don't think it's the right location. I'm not saying it couldn't be somewhere else.
In that region?
Well, we don't have very much art anywhere.
So are we being parochial and saying this site has to be, you know, a gateway? Therefore, this doesn't fit?
That was the intent of the plan. So if that's not the intent anymore, we need to readdress it, because that's the premise under which we approved.
Okay, and so if that's the case, then I'll agree with you. I think what better place to put it than if you separate that and look at art, than to have the kids, then to have all the parents and all the people that pick up the kids and all the kids there, and so you have something kind of whimsical. It doesn't necessarily say Indio, it says cool turtle, you know, in the park around a school where there's kids and there's 1 million parents that come to see it, and people, another 1 million people that drive up and down Jackson and sit at that signal for 2 hours. So, you know, and I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just saying there's a lot of traffic and a lot of visibility there. So I guess at the end of the day, what we need to say is, are we keeping our approach that this has to be an entry monument, or are we going to dispense with that nomenclature for this particular area and say, all right, if the turtle doesn't fit here, then are we going to put a piece of art there?
Well, I guess we have to go back to the drawing board as far as what we want.
But even then, when you look at it, I mean, there's nowhere to park. I mean, people aren't going to, from the outside, other than if it's for the locals, that's a different story. But you know, you can't park there. It's a red zone. There's schools there on a continual basis. We're talking about for the kids, and then I'm good with that. But I just think it stands out. I think it's a beautiful piece to be hidden behind trees, only being able to see from one direction on Kenner, because whatever reason we decided was an entry point, and that's why we're putting it there. I think it's a great piece. I think we should put it somewhere where it's going to be seen a little bit more as a piece of art, where people can actually get off in the street and be able to look at it and take pictures like we do here in Indio in the sign. There's nothing really wow about that sign, but people are able to get off, park, do it, and take a picture of the sign. And if they want it, that's what they got to do. We got to decide if it's an art piece for the community or if it's something we want the whole city or other people to be able to see.
May I add something, Mr. Mayor? So, as you recall, this area is an established area. They call it Old Indio, I believe. So
North
that
Indio.
North Indio, because, and then also we have the jewel neighborhood there. So those established neighborhoods, there's nothing there for them. So except when we build the park, there will be something for them. So even jewel has the meaning. So you can find a jewel in the middle of, you know, a lot of things and go for it and research for it and find it. So it has a meaning for the neighbors and also for the demographics there. And also it is close to the school. We have a lot of opportunities for entry monument signs, but most of the areas for entry monument signs are within median, so it's hard to interact. This is one of those places that it creates interaction, and again, it's school, it's kids, it's neighborhood that it is established, and people who live there, you know. So I thought, I mean, not me, but
Well,
I think the commission thought that would be a good addition. But again, we can go back to the drawing board.
I was just going to echo, maybe in part because the sports complex is there, back to the kids, perhaps it can be incorporated as part of that project. It's fun, it's whimsical, it's in this established area, adds some color to what probably is just, you know, some green grass of fields. So that's something to consider. Just put it a part of that project.
That makes more sense.
Makes more sense.
We got raked over the coals for Oculus Soul. We spent $125,000
I
on
thought it was
it.
250.
No, it was $250, but they cut it in half.
$360,000.
Huh?
$360,000.
No, it was reduced, because we
That's
did,
with the landscape and everything that we
with
did.
everything else, yeah, but we didn't pay that for the artwork, because we got raked over the coals over the price.
Because people didn't understand it.
They didn't understand it, and now we have half a piece by a famous artist who created the Bean in Seattle, but nobody visits it because it's half the size it's supposed to be. So I tend to agree with city manager that it makes more sense at the sports complex. It's a beautiful piece. I'm not going to shoot down that, and I do like the Art Commission's decision. I just don't think that that's where it belongs.
You know what, I'll agree. I'll agree with that. And before I make that motion, I guess my next question is, what are we going to do with this? Are we still going to keep this as an entry gateway? Are we still going to define it as such?
It should be an entry gateway. Every time any person comes into Indio off a highway, off a freeway, the intent was that it's an entry gateway.
Okay, so then what? Well, I'm not going to ask
And
that
that's
question.
why we wanted to
Take one thing at a time.
access public arts funds, because it made more sense. Just like the city of Indian Wells planted 24 date palms and used public arts money to make their entry beautiful, we want to access public arts fund to make our entries beautiful. It's not the other way around.
Right.
And we didn't say where in this park we were going to do it either. We were talking about taking down the trees. We were talking about doing all kinds of stuff, redoing the armory and that. So it could have been on the other side. So that when we thought about it, it wasn't like a strict location where we were going to put it. So it wasn't like it's got to be right there. So, I mean, this is the entry point, but it could have been from there all the way to the armory if it wanted to be. So that's how they kind of looked at it. So it wasn't just like one set corner like we would have done it at one of the polo clubs or anything else. So, but I like the piece. I think we should buy it. I just don't think it's the right place. So.
When
All
we're
right.
going to buy it, he's going to build it.
Yep.
So are we, shall I make a motion to move Mr. Turtle here, Desert Tortoise, to the sports park further down on Jackson, where it will be more prominent? It'll allow for it to be viewed, and people can, there'll be parking and all kinds of activity there. That was a motion.
Does that go back to the Art Commission?
Huh?
Does that go back to the Art Commission?
I have not a clue.
Neither do I.
That's up to you. If you like to refer it back and let them chew on that idea and then comment, or you could just make the action. You're the decision-making body. They're the advisory body.
Then the motion stands.
And I'll second the motion.
We have a motion from Councilmember Holmes and a second from Mayor Pro Tem Ramos-Amid.
Enter your votes, please.
And this is the vote for, sorry, this is the
Sports
vote for
complex.
the motion for the sports, okay, yeah.
Motion passes.
Motion passes 4-1. We'll move on to item number 10.4. Indio Mural number 13.
Sure. So this project, again, the Arts Commission selected their artists and the design. I'm going to go through this fast. We received 8 proposals. 5 of the proposals were repeat from the last time. So this is from Chelsea Hart. As you see, she's using very abstract, colorful shapes. This is the team that the Public Arts Commission selected. They're using some relevant symbols and motifs from the city. They showing that they're going to paint all the columns, the walls, and also the stairs. This is from Chris Sanders, that he's also showing some Native American motifs for this for the mural. This one, Anthony Garcia, he didn't send us anything that shows how it would look like on our bridge, Jackson Bridge, but he has done several murals and painted infrastructures. This is from Michelangelo Hernandez. He's the only local artist, I believe. And then, as you see, he's showing different images on the bridge. This is from Adam Rodriguez. He's showing a combination of cubism and some kind of abstract with getting inspiration from date palms. This is Christopher Stone, which, again, he shows all the walls and all the columns and also the belly of the bridge. This is from Catherine Bingley. She is getting inspiration from transportation and water, which apparently, they are part of our history. So staff is recommending to select one of the artists or just uphold what Public Arts Commission selected for this project for the amount of $65,000 and authorize the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and finalize the contract. I'm again here to answer any of the questions you may have.
Namvar. Any questions?
Who did they select again?
The muted Indian print. You want to put it up, Leila? Is Mr. Wassel still here? Oh, is the bridge finally structurally sound that we can invest in this,
There's
Mr.
Tim.
Wassel? You left the room and I called you. Is Jackson Bridge finally to the point where we can trust the structural integrity to invest money in a mural?
Is this over the railroad?
Yes.
Yes, it's fine.
It's fine?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, staff has consulted with Public Arts prior to sending the RFP out.
With Public Works?
I'm sorry, Public Works.
Any other questions?
Can we put that back on the screen?
Which one? This
That
one?
one, the one that was selected.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay,
I just, the artist that was the local artist, he put his stuff up. Is there a reason we picked this one over the other artist?
His proposed budget was $100,000, so he was over budget.
Okay. Because his work was very good. I mean, it has a great look to it. Soft, but at the same time, it really speaks to it. It comes out beautiful in the way he changes things and the colors and that. So I don't know if they don't want to pick him, but I'd like to see him do a mural somewhere in the city.
Sure.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I like it.
I like
Think it was
Anthony
good.
Garcia too. A lot of good work. A lot
Yeah.
of good work.
Yeah.
There's some real good work. A lot of detail.
And I'm not an artist, but I when we do get our train, I like folks to ride through the city and say, "Hey, check out that artwork. Look what Indio's doing." So, if there's no other discussion, I'll make a motion to move forward with the recommendation to select this artist. Was it Project 13? Mural number 13, Project Jackson Bridge, and uphold the Public Arts Commission selection of the team artists Ivan Montoya and Joey Solomon, and authorize city manager and city attorney to negotiate and finalize the terms of the agreement for the total amount of $65,000.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Furman, a second from Councilmember Holmes. Can we get a vote, please?
Please enter your votes.
And I hope we can get Michelangelo to do something, because he does have really good work.
Yeah,
Too bad
yes.
it was over budget, yeah.
Sure.
That was nice.
Except for the live organ.
Yeah, the heart.
Well, it speaks to the heart.
Gosh.
Thank you. And we'll move on to item 10.5, Indio Mural number 14 on Fairway and Bridge.
Sure. Indio Mural number 14, again, the Arts Commission selected this image from Jessica Macias. The reason to selecting that was due to the fact that RFP asked for transportation theme because we are very close to one of the entrances that exits to the CV link. The image that you see, you may see some lines, but the background will be the free flow and will be hand drawn. So it will look like a cloud image, and then the bike and the person and the animals will be painted by a stencil in order to get a sharp edge because we have a very short wall. So that was the reason for selection, if fit the location. Shows if with the car you pass by how it will look like. It may be a little bit distracting, but again, the colors are sunset and sunrise. This is the other artist, Chris Sanders, that he again showing a movement of birds, and also he has another image that is on the top. So with all these three, the recommendation is either to uphold the Planning Commission this selection of Jessica Macias, or to select one from these three, and for the total amount of $30,000, and authorize the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and finalize the terms of the agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Nambar. Do you have any questions?
Before we move forward, can we go back to the Harvey Garcia piece?
The movement,
Yeah. Yeah, just see that video.
were they all the same price?
Yes,
They're all 30,000.
they're all
30
30,000.
Mr.
Can we see-
Wassel.
Can we see that in
You have to have the sound in your car.
I got plenty of sound. The reason why I say that is because we don't see nothing else like this in our Coachella Valley. I haven't seen this before. I think this is a great concept. So I like to see, and it's not too bright. It's not too loud for somebody's community in their houses. So I really like this piece. I don't know if we could pick one or the other, but I just like the concept. It's a whole different feel. It gives people a purpose. Let's take this road. Let's go look at this, you know.
I have a solution
And
for
so,
you.
yeah.
I have been on Mr. Wassel for years. Because when you drive off of Adams and hit Varner, where the auto mall is, you have to look at that ugly wall that's just like this one probably. And I've asked him over and over and over and over, please do something pretty there. And he told me Caltrans owns it, but you know, we don't care about that. Why can't we have this there?
Just Caltrans owns it.
This one.
So we're talking about the wall in front of the dealership.
Yeah, on
Where we're
Varner,
going to clean up.
that we
Yes.
always clean up.
Yes.
In
So
front of
it's
the dealerships?
on,
Yeah.
it's on schedule. Would you like to?
What are you doing to that wall?
Okay, so what we would like to do is I already have proposals to clean out all of that area. and put some cobble to stabilize it with possibly something so we don't have weed growing through it. And then the wall behind, we were going to carry the same theme that we have over Jefferson Street Bridge.
That's fine too.
Those, we already got approval to actually, probably the city manager might have shared that with you. So for Jefferson Street over the freeway, we're going to put our logo colors instead of the existing colors. And then we're going to carry that same theme over to Byrne Road.
Oh, yay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's in the works, and as soon as all the festivals are done, we will get going on it.
Good.
Here, here.
Wonderful.
So back to you, Wayman.
I just think, yeah, I just think with this, we get more bang for our buck. It's a nice piece as it looks, but it's a visual. You know, you drive by it, it's doing something. So, and we don't have. I've never seen this. I mean,
Is it a choice between 1, 2, and 3, or is it all 3?
I'm not sure.
Just one of the
Just one.
choices.
So a horse, a
I'm
bird,
sorry.
or an eagle?
Yeah, Leila, that's a great question. There are 3 panels. Would all 3 be a part of it, or can they choose one to be consistent?
It will be, all of them will be on north and south. So when you pass by, it goes from the
Oh, yeah, because
bird
here's
to,
the horse that
Oh, it
turns
turned
into a
into the-
bird.
Oh, I see.
right,
And the
it
bird
goes
turns
from
into-
bird to
yeah.
the horse.
And
So it's
there's-
all one, it's just 3 different pictures,
Right.
yeah, because it's so long.
Correct, because the wall is so long, so he couldn't show.
Changes, yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It's different.
So go back to the one they picked,
Oh,
the
God,
Arts
no.
Commission picked?
No.
No, not that one.
Oh, there.
Oh, the bicycles and wheelchairs. And panthers and cougars and wolves.
Roadrunners?
Oh, yeah, Roadrunner.
I respect
And
the
desert
artwork, but I
tortoise.
just think the other one that we're looking at is more suitable for the area.
It's cool.
All right. So you would like to go with, yeah.
So we need that little sign. We need that little sign, you know, like when you went through that whole Christmas thing at Empire, and it says, tune your radio to such and such, and that way it,
So I Rock India?
yeah.
We do need our own station. See, now we're talking. You know, we have our city manager giving updates on there, and you know,
Tim talking about the streets.
DJ Brian,
There you go.
DJ Montgomery.
Tim could do a podcast, a weekly podcast, you know, about the Monroe interchange.
I just, my personal opinion, I do like the idea, Wayman, that one preferably. I just still don't think this is an appropriate place to put a mural in the middle of the city. And I can see it along the inner city, I can see it along under bridges where the industrial area is, but to put a bright mural on a bridge next to a bunch of housing tracts without talking to the community, I just don't think's right. And if we wouldn't put this on the entryway into Highway 111, then we shouldn't put it anywhere else.
What about the thought? I compliment the Mayor Pro Tem because it was actually her idea when we discussed, I think by email, I talked about the Jefferson. She said, why don't you do that on Byrne? And that's where Tim picked that up. But what about that concept on Fred Waring? It is true that we've had some graffiti there, so you get the blotches. If it's painted, the chance of graffiti's, minimized dramatically. So even if it were the logo colors and bands, that would be.
It could look. I just think it's so bright that here we are in the gated communities and open communities, and you got that area that goes through, that comes through, and they've all kind of got their different looks because they have we're telling them to put in cobble or whatever. So they kind of have their stuff going off, and then all of a sudden you have this big green, blue thing across the bridge, and you go back into somebody's house. It just looks out of place. Under the bridge here by Jefferson, where we have other murals now, I think it worked. That's why I voted for it.
I'm probably jumping in too much, but what if we asked the artist if he were willing to have them be neutral desert colors?
If it could tone it down, I'm not against the mural. I just think it's just so bright for that area. I just don't think it's fair to that community without asking to them.
I think they're gonna love it. So I'll make a motion to select the Harvey Garcia piece and authorize the city manager, city attorney to negotiate and finalize the terms and agreement for a total amount of $30,000. And if we make modifications to the color, I don't have a problem with that, but I do like the concept.
Yeah, this is over the wash, so it's not really adjacent to homes.
Except you can see the homes in the background.
The
Yeah, but
homes,
we don't do community engagement
the
for every
homes-
mural that we're doing now.
No, it's on the
What's
inside. It's
special
on the
about that
inside.
it's on the
right?
inside.
Not on the outside.
No, it's on the inside, so the cars will
just
see
the
it.
I know, I
on
understand.
the
I just
inside.
think it's out of place.
Man, they're gonna love it. So you got a motion.
Got a motion? Do we have a second?
Your turn. My turn, okay. I will second the motion for Councilmember Wayman Furman. Immediate pass, Mayor.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Furman. We have a second from Mayor Pro Tem. And let's go ahead and vote. I'll give you guys this one because I like it too. But honestly,
Only because you like it.
But honestly, this is just my opinion, if you guys are putting public arts commissioners into that commission,
I know. They're supposed to.
pick people that you trust because it's a headache listening. I don't know, it's too much.
You guys are nagging too much.
Oh my.
Okay, next item.
The motion passes. Next item, we have Indio Mural number 15. Go ahead, Ms. Namwar.
Sure. So, as you recall, this building that is kind of like adjacent to the future Indio Living Room, it's been rented to a restaurant, and they would like to put a mural there. The wall is very rough. It's a block. So what they proposed was to use very abstract type of style of painting, and then again use the same symbols that we see throughout, which is Ferris wheel, golf, horse, and things like that. So it went before the commission. They recommended to the council to approve the project for $40,000, but allow the staff to work on an RFP that would allow the artist to pick the concept based on the texture of the wall and roughness of the wall. And we also would add a section in the RFP that says you have to visit the site and the wall. So with that, commission recommended to the council to approve this project, allow the staff to work on the RFP for circulation with a total budget of $40,000.
I'm having problems calling up the picture. Can you put back the picture? It's going to the SAC picture. No, the picture of the mural.
No,
There's no picture of the mural. It's just like we're asking for you to approve the budget and the location.
Yeah, that was included inadvertently. That is for the next item. Apologize for that.
So they're just asking us to allocate arts money.
Yeah, it would come back of what the artist proposed.
After they're done finishing their building and that,
Yeah.
so they can work.
This was not included in the original work plan, so if you authorize it, they'll go out and seek proposals.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the installation of a new mural on the east-facing wall of the building located at 82867 Miles Avenue, adjacent to the Indio Living Room, for a total budget of $40,000, and direct staff to draft
I'll second that.
All right, we
an
have
RFP.
a motion from Councilmember Furman, and we have a second from Councilmember Miller. And we'll go ahead and vote.
And
And
then,
we have a,
yeah, I was just going to read it into the record. We did, wanted to note that Councilmember Holmes, I think, looked at the map and realized that she needed to disqualify herself because of her physical proximity of her business to
Gotcha.
this location.
thank you. All right, go ahead and vote. Motion passes 4-0. And we'll go ahead and move on to item number.
City manager, the work plan was not our idea.
Sorry?
The work plan was not a council.
We did actually bring it,
I know you did.
but it was not years ago. How long ago did the work plan come?
It was approved April 6, 2022.
Yeah, we've, as staff, we recognize that, I forget how it was on, if it was on consent or otherwise, but
It
you
was on
probably,
consent.
you probably forgotten
No,
what was in there?
No, I'm just telling you, it was never our idea. It
Oh.
was something the Arts Commission
Oh,
did
true.
separate from us.
I see.
It was actually a staff idea to make sure that we don't go to the Arts Commission and say what we're going to do next meeting. So we put it together, they looked at it, we brought to the council with the yearly project.
So number 10.7, the Desi Memorial Mural.
So Desi Memorial Mural, as you recall, Desi Cechin, which was a 6-year-old girl, passed away 2016 after 2 years of battle with cancer. So it was always in, I believe, the elected officials' mind to create something in the memory of her. So we reached out to Loma Linda Hospital, staff reached out to Loma Linda Hospital to see if that's the case still, because as you recall, they have that wall ready for a mural. So they said yes, and then we put together them with the artist Patrick Barwinski. So he came up with the concept, and Loma Linda team has accepted the concept. So it went to the commission recommended approval to the council. So what basically is the theme behind this mural is community life and hope. And as you see, the hand is, I believe it is father and daughter, and that's Desi. And then the butterfly is hope, and also it is something that already is in front of that hospital. So as you see, the artist translated those to what you see in below, and then the main character of Desi that he chose was the eyes, because it's a gate to her soul. So this is what it will look like on the wall. Also, he's proposing for a smaller version on the east side wall. As part of this, also the artists proposed to do augmented reality, which is adding animation to this when you get your phone on top of it so you can see movements. However, what the commission approved, recommended approval to the council was just the art piece for amount of $85,000 and the augmented reality to be added if Loma Linda chooses to add by themselves. So therefore, staff is requesting to approve this mural to be painted by artist Patrick Barwinski for the total amount of $85,000, and basically we should direct, no, we haven't done that yet. So we should probably direct the city manager and the city attorney to finalize the contracts and the other good stuff.
Thank you, Ms. Namvar. Do you have any questions from council?
I just have a question about the augmented reality. What was the reasoning behind not going?
It will add 10,000 if the augmented reality will be on one side. If it will be on both sides, it will add 20,000 initial cost, and every year we need to pay $3,500 to host that, because it's basically like a website. Somebody else that has the app needs to host it. So due to the cost, the commission didn't recommend that. But again, it's the council decision if you would like to add that.
20,000, I think if we do both, 10,000 on the main one, and then 3,500. It just depends. I mean, I'm good with it. Her father works for us. I remember the gallant fight the young lady put up.
Yeah.
It was inspiring.
It really was.
Yeah, it's the story. Her story is just incredible. She touched so many people.
Yeah.
But what I think about is the folks who go there, who get services. You know, it's a time where they're going to need comforting and hope with the mural displays. So I like to add it. I mean, I don't know what the desire of the council is.
It will be the only within the Coachella Valley, as far as I know, it will be the only, it will be maybe the second in Southern California.
How is it used?
You need to have an app, and then you install the app and you get in front of the mural and it will pop.
It projects it. It gives you a visual, a live visual.
Like the butterfly can fly, the flowers can, or
And then
anything.
do we need to develop that app, or like how is it?
For development, that's the initial cost.
10,000.
That 10,000 to do, because it's an animation work with the app on top of this mural.
So if there's not a company that he will go through to would already do this. I mean,
That they're established companies, and that's the price from
okay.
them.
So we don't have to develop the software, it's already
No,
there. We
it's
just
al-
have to implement it. And it also gives us the opportunity to work, maybe work with her foundation or her parents to put some live footage of her on there or some audio as well.
Actually, I was looking at this and wondering if at least putting her name on this wall would be
Oh, yeah.
what people thought about that.
Well, it's for all children.
I think they all have
True.
they have the plaques, right, that's gonna come out on there.
Maybe
Okay.
at the bottom.
And did you say something about an
We could
annual
add
fee?
it,
Yes, there's a 3,500 annual fee to host it.
Kind of like GoDaddy or whatever, if you have a website.
Oh,
you kind of
the app.
the app itself, yeah.
That's a, we cannot commit this council to, the future councils to that.
Well, but if future councils decide they don't want it, then it can go
I
away.
don't think that's the way it works.
I think we, if
It
we,
has to have a date certain.
if we-
We can only approve it for.
So a
certain amount
year or
of time.
yeah,
something,
we
and
could
then
do
it just
like
comes
a
back out.
3-year contract or something like that, and then if the appetite isn't there anymore, we can move on from
Well, you
it.
should do it every election year.
Something like that.
Consider it
Every 2 years.
In 2 years.
So, I've actually had to research this issue very recently. The city council can enter into contractual obligations for more than one fiscal year, but you do have to appropriate money within the budget each fiscal year. So our professional services agreement and the other agreements that we negotiate actually clearly state that our obligation to pay only exists if money is actually appropriated in each fiscal year.
So every
So,
year, be
yeah,
part of the
so
budget?
For whatever reason, you guys decided you were gonna cut this $3,500 from your budget, the contract would automatically terminate.
Is that gonna come out of the arts fund?
So it'd come out,
Is it legitimately able to come out of the arts fund?
I mean, it looks like art to me.
No, 35.
the animation though, so
The animation, I don't know that from the dais, but we can absolutely look into
I mean,
it.
there's some trees and landscape
I
in there.
would-
Maybe Indio Water has opportunity to.
Yeah, I think we can find $3,500 somewhere if we really
Yeah.
want to make this happen.
Right.
I
Agreed.
don't see it being
Totally.
a big deal.
I don't want to
Yes.
go halfway with this. I think
No.
this is something that deserves what we could do, so.
I would say on the main side, I don't know about 10,000 for the little one, because this
No, I
one is
think
really
the main side is
the main piece.
Yeah.
And how would they get the app? Are you gonna put like a sign there explaining what it is and then being able to get it? Because most people wouldn't have the app and know what to
have
do
a
unless
QR.
there's some way to tell them.
I believe you can put a QR code. You're
Yeah, we
correct.
should probably put a QR
nice.
code on there so
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
can hit it and use it.
But I think the QR code would be on there. I think the Desi Foundation will help. I think the Cancer Society will help. I think this is going to be a big piece. So I appreciate this coming in front of us. This is great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
This came up once before for another mural, and I struggled with it. But in this situation, all right, you guys, don't kill me here. Do we need to remove a couple of these trees so that people can take a picture? I know.
Relocate?
Old trees.
Relocate?
Relocate,
No, you
thank
don't
you.
relocate those big old things. You just cut them down.
So
I'm good with it.
staff has contacted our city arborist. We can't relocate, I mean,
they're
one
ancient, yeah.
tree that is in middle, we can't relocate it because it's so big.
Yeah.
It's useless.
So it needs to be removed
needs to
and then
go.
filled in, but again, it's the council's decision.
I mean, I think we need that,
Yeah, it takes away.
having
I
that
say we
tree.
cut them down.
Just one,
Chop
just
them down
one.
and put some beautiful plants right there and,
just
yeah.
one.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, I think just one of those would be the one that blocks the view.
True.
That's
But
fine.
I think it'll look funny if you didn't just take them both out, because then you got one that's a little further down. At least if you take it out, then you know you took them out because the mural's there instead of leaving one there. It'll look like we did it on purpose instead of
But they
doing
wrap
it.
around the
Yeah,
corner.
perhaps, but there are three.
Yeah, they wrap around.
So there's one there, one in the corner, and then there's one right around. They wrap. So it looks like a trio of trees there. It almost looks intentional.
It was intentional.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but
That
then
was
if
like
you're trying to
50
get a
years
picture,
ago.
if you're trying to get a picture of the whole
I was
thing,
gonna say,
That's
those
right,
maybe
it
a
doesn't
roll.
work. So you can plant it and make it a butterfly garden in place of the palm trees
Ooh,
or
that's a
something.
good idea. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I think
We
we're
want to
gonna-
remove both.
Well,
We're not going to hurt losing those trees.
Yeah.
I say
But
remove
wonderful.
both and make it look like you'd meant it to be.
What's the
mural was
cost
there.
for that?
Expensive.
We'll just cut it down and
1,500, 2,000
Probably
each,
2,000 bucks to take it down.
to haul out the root.
To take both
Yeah,
down?
maybe we could take some photos of both sides and bring it back. Certainly the one in front of the, in
Let the
front.
arborists make the
There we
decision.
go.
We don't need to make the
There
You got
decision.
your Google phone, it'll take it off.
Yeah. I love palm trees.
And then, Ms. Holmes, you were talking about somehow having the name on there.
Well, or maybe it's on the QR code. You know, that might be the best place for it, just to acknowledge.
Yeah, because people could add their kids' names to the app or to the memory wall, the
That
virtual
would be
wall.
kind of neat, yeah, the virtual. That would be
And
kinda
I think the app will tell the story, her story, and
Yep.
it'll work it up, so yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
All right, well.
Okay, so I'm gonna make the motion? I'm happy to. I'd like to make I just gotta capture all of this in here. Approve artist Patrick Barwinski's mural design and appropriate $85,000 for the installation of a mural in memory of Desi Cechin at Loma Linda Children's Hospital in downtown Indio. And then we need to add the whole concept of the additional dollars for, what do you call, augmented
Augmented
reality.
$10,000 for augmented
And
reality.
add $10,000 for the augmented reality. And then do we need to add the $3,500? We need to add the $3,500 for ongoing
Hosting costs,
hosting costs. Thank you, couldn't have said it better myself.
and also the tree
And they're moving.
removal.
And we need to put the trees in there too, make the trees go
Both
away.
trees?
Both, well, we're gonna let the arborist
Let
make the
arborists
decision.
decide.
And on this mural, will they have a protective coat under, so it doesn't, correct?
Yeah,
So it's
he's
not like
u-
some of our other murals that,
correct.
Yep.
It will have UV coating and also anti-graffiti.
Perfect.
So there was a motion.
Right,
I'll
we got a
second it.
motion. Got a motion from Councilmember Holmes and a second by Councilmember Miller. Let's go ahead and vote. Vote passes 5-0. Thank you. Go ahead and move on to item 10.8, Shields Park Art Project.
This is the artwork that we received for the Shields Park. The RFP requested for an outdoor library, but we received only one proposal, which is this one from Mr. Carroll. Staff would like to know if the council would like to direct the staff for new RFP for new project. The the Public Arts Commission recommended a walking maze. However, staff thinks if we also add vertical element to the walking maze, it will be more attractive and more inviting. Especially, this is also close to one of the exits from the CV link. So when they see something there, so it kind of like piques their interest to go there and take a look at it. And then it's a walking maze, which is good for the people who are in the neighborhood to go there and explore. Also with vertical elements, we can invite the bikers as well. So that's why staff is before the council to see how you would like to proceed with this project.
Thank you, Ms. Namvar. Any questions from council?
Are you referring to the IWA water tower site?
Correct.
It's IWA property. So. are
The
they gonna-
park is IWA park?
It's IWA land. Usually with IWA land, we just paint the water tower. But I don't know, was this on the plan that we forgot?
Yes. Yes, it was on the plan, the two CV links, which was one the
Yeah.
mural and
No,
one the.
that's understandable, the CV link spots. But I'll let council discuss it.
Any other questions? How big of a space would the maze be?
The area is quite large, so the maze can be with a diameter of 30 feet at least.
so this is Shields Park,
It's the one
This-
on the
this is
turnaround,
Shield Park.
right by the school.
down from Madison?
Where
No, Avenue 46 and
meet,
Shields.
Oh, okay.
Up against the wash.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tucked away there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a water
So
site.
it's Avenue 46, yeah, so that's that corner, that small park over there.
It's facility plant 4, it's not a park.
Yeah. Are you recommending you'll pay for it, Ray? Is that what you're saying?
You're the board, not him.
No. It's up for discussion. Everything's up for discussion.
It just seems like an odd place to put it.
But
me.
the only thing that makes sense is the CD link stop.
Yeah,
If that's a stop, then it makes sense.
they'll have to have aren't they making all those archways to hide under and all that at the same, I saw the blue and white ones out everywhere, so that'll be in that area too, that this will be able to fit in there next to it. It's gonna be a tight squeeze.
I don't know. We could come back to it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem doing it if it's a CV link, but it'll be interesting.
So this would just be the RFP. Some artists would do a little bit of work and then present back, and then maybe we can get a better location of what it is, where it's at,
And how it would,
fit.
And see what's,
how it would correlate to the CD link.
exactly.
Question.
And kind of work with CV Link to make sure that they have the proper amount of area they need too, to make sure that they're doing what they need so it fits in too. I hate to have to do it twice because they're gonna come in and put their stuff in. They might need some opportunities to have some turnaround or do some work, but.
It is far away from their facility, so the facility is on top of the wash. You have quite a space to come down
Enough.
to the flat area, then to get to this grass area.
Okay.
So
Just trying
there's
to
room.
picture it.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
don't,
hidden.
I think we just have to look at concepts in that area.
Yeah,
We just,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, we'll have to look at and see, like, if there's a maze, like, where's it gonna go, where, you know, we don't have any visual of,
Yeah.
you know, we like the concept or the idea, but we don't have any visual of,
So all the staff is asking is the
RFP.
city council allows the staff to work on RFP for a maze with vertical elements, and then goes to the commission. If we can send it for the circulation after the commission says okay, and then all the artists again come back to you for your final approval. So at this point, we just want to know if we can, the staff can do the legwork.
I think my only concern is I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, just because I don't want people to work on, designs and everything, and they come back and we're like, we don't like that site,
Well,
So-
that begs the question, is this site a priority? Because to me, the entries are the priority. We want to attract people into the city of Indio. This isn't a place that people are going to say,
Resonate
"Oh,
too.
There's Indio. No,
They
this
will
isn't-
go with the bikes when the
will
CV
go
link
with the
is,
CV
yes,
link,
yeah.
yes, if
So,
that- if
and then we will bring you the yearly plan for the next year, which will have quite a lot of what the council is visioning as far as the intermonuments and other things that the council would like.
Wish we had a picture of a video see where we're talking about compared to the CV link
well,
and
we
everything
can't
else.
get there until we approve this, though, right?
Right, what I'm saying, well, no, but where it's gonna be located,
Yeah.
in my head, I can see it, but then I'm trying to.
I'm looking at it on my phone, but rather than pull up Google
here's-
Earth, I think the
No, we
question.
have it here, we're
There's
looking
the
at
map,
Randy's
yeah.
picture.
Oh, okay.
I used to
Yeah,
live around the
Randy
corner,
has
so.
Yeah, I mean,
See, zoom out a little bit.
And actually,
Yeah.
there's a lady who has her own business. She takes her dogs there, and they train them. So I've seen them there as well. So, I was sorry.
yeah, I'm good.
Probably not harm in letting artists propose.
Yeah.
And then you can decide.
Absolutely. That's what we did with the last one.
Thank
so.
you very much.
And if that's the case, I'll make a motion to approve the Shields Park Art Project budget and the project concept and direct staff to draft the request for proposal accordingly.
The budget was $65,000. Would you like to stay with that, or would you like to increase it?
We don't know.
I think that we stay there. I mean, it's a small area, so I don't foresee
65,000.
something dramatic going there.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
All right.
I have a motion from Councilmember Furman, a second from Councilmember Holmes. Let's go ahead and vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Namvar, for all of those presentations. We'll move on to public hearings. Item number 11.1, acceptance of fiscal year 2022 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant. Go ahead, Mr. Chief Washburn.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Mike Washburn, your Chief of Police. Tonight is a routine item that requires a public hearing. It's acceptance of our share for this year for the Byrne grant, JAG grant, and $35,865. We will use that for purchasing some public safety equipment as well as offsetting our ongoing recruitment costs. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief Washburn. Any questions here?
No.
No questions? All right, go ahead and entertain the motion.
Open
Oh,
the
sorry,
public
go
hearing.
ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have any comments from the public?
None, Mayor.
None. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Do you have any comments from council members?
No, I think it's good.
And I'll make a motion.
All right.
Acceptance of fiscal year 2022 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, JAG, in the amount of $35,865. Authorize the police department to use the funding to purchase public safety equipment and support ongoing recruitment efforts. Approve and authorize the city manager or designee to execute the interlocal agreement between participating cities in the county of Riverside, the designated fiscal agent, and other related grant documents.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Councilmember Holmes and a second from Councilmember Miller. Let's go ahead and vote. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Move on to public comments. Do we have any public comments?
Yes, Mayor. We have Laura James.
Laura James.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. I'm Laura James, Vice President of Innovation with Coachella Valley Economic Partnership, and I'm here to provide you just a quick update on our activities and impact for this current fiscal year, which began on July 1st, 2022. Talking about activities and impact in three key areas: entrepreneurship and development, positioning the Coachella Valley as a destination for business, and elevating educational opportunities in the Coachella Valley. How we've spurred entrepreneurship and development in the Coachella Valley. We've assisted 38 entrepreneurs through our Business Services Center. We've accepted 4 early-stage technology startup companies into the Coachella Valley iHub network, bringing the current total to 24 companies, the cumulative total to 67. We've hosted 3 business finance workshops. One of those was just this morning. We've implemented a brand new monthly program called Morning Insights, where entrepreneurs can learn from one another and from experienced business mentors and advisors. We've fulfilled 45 data and analytics requests from cities, developers, nonprofit organizations, and existing Coachella Valley businesses looking to expand. We've positioned the Coachella Valley as a destination for business by resuming the live and in-person Greater Palm Springs Economic Summit, first time since COVID, with attendance of more than 500 people, and we published the Greater Palm Springs Economic Report, which we launched on that morning. We generated over 1 million impressions, actually about 1.5 million impressions on social media via digital, social, and traditional. I could break those down for you, but it'll take up too much of my minute that I have left. We've been actively participating on core Riverside County Innovation Month Planning and Steering Committee. Our primary focus is on Fast Pitch Greater Palm Springs and other local innovation events. Finally, we've continued to elevate educational opportunities in the Coachella Valley. At the K-12 level, we do that in part by participating in Desert Sands Portrait of a Graduate Visioning sessions and in their Goldfish Bowl competitions. At the community college level, we've done that by presenting to COD business and entrepreneurship classes every semester, and by actively participating in COD's Architecture Committee, and by actively participating on COD's Business Advisory Committee. Also at the 4-year university level, of course, you know, we secured $79 million with the help from a lot of partners here in the Coachella Valley to expand the Cal State University San Bernardino at Palm Desert campus last year. And we remain deeply involved in the expansion planning of that campus, sort of keeping our thumb on that project as it moves along. We're also partnering with UCR International Programs to shine an international business spotlight on the Coachella Valley as international companies send their employees here to do training. With that, I'll wrap up on time. Thank you very much for allowing me to provide this update.
Thank you, Ms. James. Thank you all you do for bringing better business and educational opportunities for our community.
Thank you for your partnership.
Thanks. And we have another public comment from Jean Martinez. Hi.
Hello, Council. My name is Jean Martinez. I appreciate your time tonight. I wish to address the City Council on the matter of the microfilm holdings at the Indio Library. These days, I am attending CSUSB as a public history major. I'm in the over 60 program, and I have used the microfilm holdings as an invaluable and irreplaceable resource for my research. Currently, I'm reviewing materials on the Black USOs in the Inland Empire, of which Indio had one not far from here on Requa Street during World War II. I am requesting that serious consideration be given to the digitizing of the collection of microfilm housed at the library to create greater accessibility to anyone, just like the digitized city council minutes that Indio has, so anyone, whether they represent the public or academics, can get an understanding of how communities have fared since the earliest newspapers in 1895. I'm convinced this conversion would serve many interests and increase usage of these important historical primary source materials. I have printed the list of the microfilm holdings for you to give you a better idea of its extent and the veritable historical significance. It has an additional attached item with information from UCR's Center of Bibliographical Studies and Research that may be of interest and use. Secondly, I understand that in the strategic plan, 2022 to 2024, 5M is the section, it indicates a downtown history walk was being planned, and I am asking that consideration to preserve the history of the Black USO in Indio be thoughtfully explored for inclusion on that history walk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. City Manager, could we maybe reach out to the History Museum and see if they're doing any of that work?
Yes, thank you. In fact, if we could speak just briefly after the meeting, the county operates the library system, so the request could better be directed to them, and I'll help her find the right place to go.
Okay, thanks. Any other public comments? No? All right. We'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Our next council meeting is going to be March 15th, 2023. Thank you all for joining us.